And greetings everyone and welcome to Stellaris Apocalypse. And Lightning Dragon is here with me. We're going to go ahead and dominate the universe like a human would.
Of course, because we are humans.
Indeed. No, you are not the human. I am the human.
So, I believe you said you have not played the new expansion at all, right?
No.
So that means you're going to be asking me a bunch of questions.
Or blindly stumbling through, failing miserably, and having anyone who watches this video laugh at me nonstop.
That sounds about right. Well, let me know when you want on to pause.
I'm just setting some scientific goodness.
I might actually be in a relatively good location.
Alright, then I think I'll tell my science ship to auto-explore, or survey, there you go, survey, whatever, survey. Alright, and construction ship can die in a fire right now. No, actually, no, there's one thing it can build right here. Build mining station.
Good thing you mentioned that, because I have a mining station that's a +3.
Well, there you go.
I have enough to build that, and +3 is definitely worth it. Alright, ready to unpause?
I am ready.
Alright, let's do this. In the very beginning, I usually play on fast because it takes 1,000 years to get anything done.
I always have a philosophy in 4X games. I know a lot of people play it fast like you. It's never something I'm really comfortable with. But the reason is that I find that early missteps are catastrophic later on. I mean, you basically end up... It doesn't seem like a big deal in the beginning, but it's kind of like that first domino that fell. It just causes everything else to... You're behind in this or you're behind in that.
I have never felt that way in Stellaris. Of course, you could be 100% true in other games, but usually if you miss something, and this is kind of goes with all Paradox games really, is like, oh, you were inefficient by 1%, and it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But they've slowed the early game down a lot more, because your ships now have to travel through your systems. So, for example, if you tell your ship to go somewhere, it still has to, fly to that area and then jump there. But if you want the ship to leave that area and go somewhere else, they have to still fly through that area. They don't just warp right where they were. They have to be in a travel lane.
So this is, I see, like, obviously the lanes here. So obviously they've gotten rid of the other two travel types now.
Yeah, completely gone. They still exist, but they are not in the game as types of FTL for your ships.
Yeah, they're just events or locales that have a particular ability to, like, here's a wormhole, and you can use the wormhole to travel over here.
Yeah, there's 2 techs, and you have to research them. I don't know if they're dependent on you having those things within your borders. But the first one I've come across a lot is the wormhole one. It's a rare tech. I don't know the prerequisites for getting it. Maybe it's scanning a wormhole. And once you have that tech, you can send your science ships to where that wormhole is and scan it. And once you've scanned the wormhole, you will be like, okay, well, we can now travel through this one. And it will also tell you where the linked pair of that wormhole will take you. And as far as your influence cost when you're building outposts, oh, hey, we discovered alien life. The other wormhole where that exits is considered close to your border if you own that wormhole, because it's one travel distance that you use as a wormhole. The gateways, I like to think of them as Mass Effect relays. Even though I've played a lot on the 2.0 build, I have yet to use them, and I don't know if it's because the tech for it is just much later. But from what I understand, they basically just work like Mass Effect relays. As long as there is certain ones active, you will be able to just kind of, the old style warp, just go right to the next one. so they still exist in the game, and you can crank up their commonality. We are playing on ×2 wormholes and ×2 gateways, but even then they're fairly rare.
So I went and got the humanoid expansion pack because the primary reason I did that is I liked the ships there. They fit my style better. In fact, these starting ones look a little bit like Star Destroyers to a degree. Like if Star Destroyers met modern Navy. It's kind of hard to describe. I guess you'll see later, but it's one of those things that some of the aesthetics on the other ships didn't really appeal to me. These actually kind of do. It's a Beagle class. It's a Corvette human stork.
Did you say Beetle class?
Beagle.
Beagle? That's a little bit better. What's my ship called? My destroyer is the Ulan. So if you press F10, which is the short key, or hotkey, short key, whatever, that brings up your ship construction thing. One of the things they've added is auto-generate designs, and what this is it'll take your quote-unquote best technology and automatically fit it onto your ship. You can turn that off. I would probably recommend you turn it off, but if you wanted to leave it on just to see that it will do that,
I like to leave it on early on when the technology is constantly
construction complete.
Because to me, it's like later on when you have so much technology to pick from, and it could be like a long time between. I have all this stuff popping up here. 1 second here. Then basically your decisions, I feel that they're a bit weightier. Like you should really design things the way you need them. But early on, it's like I just, built this ship to do this thing, and then suddenly it's all my technology is out of date. Let me redo this again. I'd rather just have it update automatically. That way I don't have to think about it.
Well, you might be happy then because technology feels a lot slower.
Good, because in some regards, I feel that earlier iterations of the game, it did feel that technology advanced so quickly sometimes that by the time you build something, it was already out of date.
Another thing is there's also a tech slider. So if you want to have a very, very low-tech game, you could crank that all the way down, not up, down, and have it where it's, I guess it'd be like 75% more expensive, I think is how it would work, going by the way that the sliders work. So you could have a game where it's not really about technology at all. So like you have this huge burst of technology, obviously with interstellar space travel, but afterwards it's kind of like, well, now we have all this travel, and there's not as much drive to learn things. I probably wouldn't have any fun with that, just because there's a lot of blockers, especially just blockers in general, like on a planet. Your starting planet, you can clear everything there. It's like, there's industrial wastelands, slums, some other things like that. But if you look at other planets, you have like active volcanoes, sinkholes, mountain ranges, quicksand, dangerous wildlife. And a lot of that stuff makes it really, really hard to expand. And if you have a non-adaptive race, the terraforming makes a huge difference. And there's 2 stages of terraforming. There's if it's an ocean planet, you can turn it into a jungle planet, or if it's a jungle planet, you can turn it into a continental planet. It's within that same type. So if you're a jungle people, you can live on an ocean planet or a continental planet because it's very similar, but your people aren't quite as happy. And if you're non-adaptive, it makes it even worse because it's like a 80 to 60%. So that 60% would go down to 50, which is like the base level happiness. So you wouldn't get any bonuses. In fact, there's a good chance you'll get negatives if your people live there. And that kind of stuff stacks up real quickly, especially if you're talking about a game that lasts for like 200 years. I mean, if you had a factory or something that was at, let's say it was at 75% efficiency for 200 years, that's a lot of stuff that factory did not make. Of course, I'm speaking of people, obviously, in this case. But the same kind of scenario applies.
Ah, that first anomaly I find, what is it? I don't even have a scientist that can handle it. Oh, well.
Oh, I got an event. Mass extinction. Blah, 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 blah.
On your home planet.
For a very human future. That was the little exception. Oh, 40%. I'm not going to scan that. So here's a continental world for me. That's nice.
Construction complete.
Size 23. Booyah. I also have an arid planet size 20 next to me, but unfortunately,
it also changed the way that borders work a little bit.
Yeah. So in the old game, borders were just like in flux all the time, forever. And now you have a fixed border, and unless you build an outpost to claim that area, your borders will never expand. And they've changed it so some of the tech that would be like, oh, this tech increases your border growth or whatever. Well, those techs now give you a discount to expansion because expansion uses influence.
I see. Yeah, because there was times that I actually owned a planet and it was like right on the edge, or like not owned a planet, but owned a bunch of miners and harvesters and whatnot, on a system that was in control, and then it would suddenly just be like one turn, and it would go bink, and then you'd lose your stuff. Yeah,
because the AI or your friend's borders got a border pop or something, and it's like, well, you don't control that territory anymore. And it's kind of one of those good and bad changes. It's good because losing borders randomly is bad. I'd say it's a little bit bad because now you have to pay for everything. It's not hugely expensive, but it does add a little bit of micromanagement to things instead of just a passive like you get stuff. And also there's another change. The way your science works is it used to be by planets owned and population. Well, it's still by planets owned,
complete.
But your starting planet obviously does not give you a tech penalty. But every planet you colonize after your home planet gives you a 5% penalty as opposed to the old 10% penalty.
That's better.
But every system you control also gives you a tech penalty. But I believe it's only about 2%. So if you have, 20 systems under your control, you have, whatever 20 times 2 is.
All right, let's go ahead and get the calculator out. Hold on.
Yeah, because never ever do math.
412.
Yes, you'd have a 412% penalty to your science for owning 20 systems.
Exactly.
Which is pretty extreme. So one of the things is, if it's a very, very low
I'm kidding,
resource
right?
area. What?
I'm kidding, right?
Of course.
Okay.
That's way too.
You were very serious at that. I was like, wait a minute. It's like, do you math that bad?
It's 40%. It's 40% is what it is.
I was just like, whoa. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, so anyway, you'd have a penalty for all that stuff. So if there's a system that's like, it has nothing there, or it has like one mineral or one energy, odds are you probably don't want that because the penalty for taking it is, too much. But if it's one of those things where it's like, well, this system is a choke point, then you definitely want it, because then you could force everyone to go through that one system to get to you in times of war or something, and that would make it beneficial. So there's a little bit more thought in choosing the systems, but I say that because that's what the dev said. But now I'm going to tell them why they're wrong. And the reason is, any territory next to you that is not controlled by you has a chance to spawn pirates. And these pirates get really, really big later on in the game. I mean, we're talking about one ship that's got a strength of 5,000, which is as big as a fleet. So, I'm glad they added something so that there's a constant make sure you watch your borders. But honestly, it's really just annoying, and it should just stop after a certain time frame. So far from what I've seen, it doesn't stop. But Maybe it'll be patched. Maybe modders will just be like, pirates are annoying. Remove the, event chance for these. Because that's one of the things about Stellaris is it's incredibly moddable. And if there's something that you don't like, chances are there's a mod to change it.